The water's all over the
There we
floor.
go.
You slide and there's no friction. You just keep going.
Going right into the podcast, Cammy's already excited. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us, and welcome to Firing Range, a podcast to talk about all things Destiny, weapons, abilities, loadouts, and the sandbox at large. Thank you very much for joining us. And right off the bat, gotta let you know, Cool Guy ain't here. But, he'll be joining us next time. He's taking a little time off. We wish him well. Love the guy to death. He's like a brother to us. So, we hope to hear from him soon. But in the meantime, we got stuff to talk about, and we actually started on time tonight. So I would like to offer a cordial invitation for regular DCP to suck it. That is how you begin a podcast on time. Little hostility, that's fine. Boys, how was your week? Cammy, are you well rested, brother? I know that this man hung up his streamer title. He's now an official full-time farmer.
Yeah, I've been farming the Nightfall. No, not gonna do that. But yes, I have been in that Nightfall playlist all week long, going for Grandmaster completions because they did a double loot campaign. So if you completed any difficulty, you get twice the amount of loot.
Yeah.
And since it's the fastest Nightfall strike, being the Lake of Shadows, it was something I could not miss. Because they've never been that generous with loot ever in Destiny.
True, yeah. Did you do Grandmaster or Master?
I did 90% Grandmaster, and then when I was too tired to be able to complete Grandmaster, swapped to Master. And it was so cathartic to switch from Grandmaster to Master.
Oh, God.
Because with GM, there's some sort of randomness where you can do everything right, and it still doesn't go your way. And then in Master, you just get to bully. You get to shove every enemy into the lockers and whatnot. It's great.
Dude, throwing out a little weeb culture here. In DBZ, Goku gets off King Kai's planet after, training under, 100 times gravity. He's, flying around. He's like, I feel light as a feather. That's going from Grandmaster to Master.
That's exactly it.
I did do a bunch of Grandmaster, but then, sometimes I wanted to do Master because, honestly, if you get it down to 6-7 minutes or something like that with a really good team, you just burn through it. You could get a couple of runs done in the time it would take to get one Grandmaster done. And I don't know, sometimes you just want to focus less, you know what I mean? I want to talk to Twitch chat about
you can
whatever.
On Netflix and talk to Twitch chat with that. With GM though, it does require focus, and you can get GM down to some pretty competitive times. I've seen the teams with the records somewhere in the below 6-minute range, which means
that's impressive.
That means their average run probably ranges from the 8 or 9 minute, just
that's wild,
comfortable.
Yeah. Good for them. Yeah,
so it is possible, and it's cool to shave down those seconds where you can as a team. I find that fun.
I do like that too. It reminded me of classic speedrunning. You know what I mean? Like Mario 64, just shave a couple seconds off, bro.
Yeah, I don't think
BLJ. I don't think I ever got below 18, but you know what? I'm fine with that. Whatever. It's like playing with friends. It's all about getting the loot, stuff like that. Drew, did you do any farming?
Yeah. Any farming that I did do was with Cam. So.
Oh, gotcha. Oh wow. Sorry. Are you as tired as he is? You just cranked it out?
Yeah. I didn't do as much as he did. Which is crazy to me because I feel like I did a lot, enough to feel like the soul has been drained out of me. It was a lot.
I was really motivated. Let's just say that.
I was pretty motivated too. I happened to get the exotics that I needed relatively quickly, but I wanted to save up Ascendant shards. So what we ended up doing was we would repeatedly. I don't know if anyone else did this. I'm sure people did, but we would repeatedly masterwork one exotic from our collections in order to bank an Ascendant shard, because when you delete an exotic after you masterwork, you get one Ascendant shard back. So my goal was I have a lot of the exotics I want already. I took the ones that I got the ones that I wanted, but my real goal was to try and make sure that I can masterwork as many exotic armor pieces as possible to have a maximum stack of 10 Ascendant shards in my inventory, 10 in my postmaster, the whole 50-50 in inventory and postmaster of the enhancement shards. I think they're called that. And then also masterworked exotics in my or in my vault rather, so that I have higher than 20.
So you would take like an exotic out of your collections. You would intentionally masterwork it, put it in the vault, with the intention of I'll break it down later if I need a shard. What are you, fucking Scrooge McDuck? Jeez, you're like swinging a pool of ascendant shards.
For a very long time again.
Good for you, Drew. Good for you. That's big brain. I didn't think about doing that. That's good. I mean, even if I wanted to, I probably don't have the vault space. I'm like always at 499 pretty much.
All right, now the podcast just got juicy. You mentioned vault space.
Yeah.
It's always a problem to me.
Always
Maybe
a problem.
it's like biased as a content creator, but seriously, every individual piece in my vault, I can think of this does a unique job. I can't warrant deleting it because if Bungie changes one thing and I have to go get this is arguably a 20-hour grind, and I just don't have that time.
Like, I get that not everyone is like us. You know what I mean? Like, some people come into my Twitch chat and they're like, Fallout, I want to strangle you. Why do you have you have like 12 mind benders? Like, what are you doing? It's like, look, man, do you want the shotgun videos or do you not want the shotgun videos? All right, like, what do you pick a lane here? If I'm gonna make content on weapon variety, I'm gonna have a buttload of weapons. Okay, that's how life works. Merc, did you do any farming?
Literally not even a bit. Nah, I can't bring myself to farm, man. Like it.
Why not?
It's just the menial tasks crush my soul, and like I already have such limited time to play games. Like when I get on at the end of the day after I've worked like the entire day in my in real life job, which sucks, and then like the last thing I want to do is continue to do menial tasks for like the next 3 hours after that. So
I guess
I spent
that
a lot
is
of time,
true.
Updating the weapon stat spreadsheet. Some people have been sending me like feedback on it, like stuff that was outdated or incorrect, or things I looked at from Fallout's videos that turned out to be wrong, and then they corrected me on it. So I've been working on the weapon stat spreadsheet, trying to get it like up and running, so that when Beyond Light comes, I can just plug in the new numbers and like be off and running. I'm playing
Good call.
a lot of Battlefront 2, and then someone told me something about Skyburner's Oath, and I wanted to test it, so I took Skyburner's Oath into PvP, and then I ended up playing like 50 games of Crucible with Skyburner's Oath this week. So that's been my Destiny experience over the past 7 days.
For the record, what did you test about
Skyburners?
Dude, they were telling me that they had heard a rumor that like the rate of fire was something other than what we had commonly assumed it was, which is like 200, 150, and that there was some weird stacking damage glitch where like I don't even know how this is supposed to be possible, but it was like if you held down full auto and you didn't hit your first 3 shots, then you hit someone with like a 4th shot without letting off the trigger. It was like a super damage shot, and it just like eviscerated them. And I was like, that doesn't sound right, but also nobody uses Skyburner's Oath, so I don't know if like that is the truth.
Right,
so,
I don't think it's the 4th shot. It just it's just super random to me.
It is.
Is it like true though? Does it?
Well,
yes, it's absolutely true.
Yeah, it did happen a couple of times where I hit someone with a shot, and it just like, I didn't think I hit them with more than 1 shot. I hit them with 1 shot and I died. Like they just detonated, and I was like, oh. But it didn't seem to be triggered by the 4th shot. What I think it was is some weird latency where, because of the explosive rounds, it was like showing on my screen that I had missed 3 shots. But then what had actually happened is I'd hit all the shots, and then at once it just like caught up and just deleted them.
Gotcha.
Right? So I'm not sure what it looked like on their screen, because obviously no one uses Skyburner's Oath against me, so I've never experienced something like that. But from my perspective, I was able to be like, yeah, every once in a while I just like vanish someone, seemingly like full health, full health dead. So yeah, wasn't like a 4th shot or wasn't a glitch I could reproduce. It seemed like it was just latency to me, but I mean, I enjoyed it enough to keep playing with it after a while. It's definitely not competitive, but it's a really fun style of play. I mean, how many guns besides the last word in D2 do you use 90% of the time hip fire and like have them be kind of effective? So
I started putting it on because I wanted to tilt snipers, and I was like trying to find the right weapon to do it. Skyburners will do it. You just hold down hip fire and it'll find them.
Yeah, ton of flinch, long range. As long as you keep the reticle red, the tracking on the hip fire grenade shots is like pretty aggressive, as long as they're not right in front of you, and the shots have time to bend. And plus, if you're up in the air like the whole time, it doesn't have any inner accuracy drop off, so you're just like floating around. I mean, I'm sure someone's done the AC-130 build,
of course,
float around as a warlock and just. But
enemy
I had fun. Yeah,
there's like a sweet spot you can stand where you can't hit anything with it. No matter how hard you try, it'll just orbit around them, the bullets, but not hit them.
Oh, yeah, it's when they can strafe faster than the maximum speed that the shot can bend. So what ends up happening is they strafe and it pulls the shot, and like no matter where you try to lead your shot, it just like pulls the shot around them. which is an incredibly frustrating thing to be trying to do because you're like, I'm literally cannot be aimed better than I'm aimed right now, and it just misses everything. But yeah, it's still an interesting gun. Kind of wish it was a little bit better. When they were asking about like, you know, they're talking about exotics and stuff like that, and we're going to talk about exotics here today. But when I was going down the list and thinking, I was like, man, there's some exotics that like really just don't get any love in the current state of the game. There's some exotics I really wish got a little fine tuning to make.
Hold that thought. I would love to go down that rabbit hole. I think we broke a new record. 10 minutes already down a sidetrack rabbit hole. Put it on the back burner. I'd like to remind our listeners at home that Mercules told us that he doesn't have time to farm, but he'll roll deep in PvP for 15 hours on a rumor about a gun he wanted to confirm or bust.
It's about how enjoyable I find the activity, right? Like, I like solving mysteries. I don't like repeating the same content. Like every PvP game's a little bit different, right? But
it's
most
true.
of the Nightfall,
it is true, but they're pretty much the same.
Yeah, I solved the mystery of when will I get the exotic I want.
Answer never.
Answer never.
I do agree though. Go ahead, Drew.
It's there's a part of, you know, I love that they do these, like the double loot incentive is amazing. And I really do love it. And I think it's great that we have more of an opportunity to go for something that we want. Even more so than the resources. If you want that exotic you've been waiting for or want a specific role on it, it's great that this exists. But man, I can't shake the feeling that doing something over and over and over and over again is really draining. And I want to say, like, I came to this point of realization where me and Cam were playing, I was just like, Cam, I think I'm like enjoying Destiny less because of this. And like, it's like, I know this is optimal and like, it's going to save me time in the long run, but it's like, I think I'm like thoroughly enjoying the game far less because of this. And if this is the trend of how the game has to go, I think like mentally I'm like going to enjoy it less. And I was like, well,
it does bring up an interesting question of, it actually does feel like work. Crossing over that line, like if you have a to-do list, you're like, what am I, going to Home Depot? Like, it's like I got a chore list of like things to do in my game. It's like playing Farmville back in the day on Facebook, like, oh, wake up and water the farm. It's a boomer reference right there, but like it will show you the extent that the player will be willing to suffer for the sake of loot, right? Like, I mean, I think we can all agree. I mean, maybe we don't agree. I think it was a success, air quotes, in that, like, I love that Bungie was like, here, we're going to give you an opportunity to get end game level material, like a lot of it, by doing something brain killing but easy, and like, you know, hopefully you get something really clutch out of it. I hope the numbers for the Nightfall were like off the chart. I hope, like, you know, Johnny Two Sticks comes home from work and it's like, yeah, dude, time to get those Dune Marchers I wanted, or whatever. But there is a degree of like wanting to jump out the window because it's just like, geez, what are we doing? Like, we've been doing this for like 3 hours. Like, we're just gonna keep doing it. You turn on that part of your brain where you're almost not even thinking about it anymore because it becomes like a routine, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think, let me ask you, Drew, do you think in like a perfect world, what would a less boring method of double loot be? Or does that even exist? Like,
I think that a lot of it comes from the fact that you just don't know when you're going to be, like, you don't know if there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's like you're doing this monotonous, repetitive thing, and it's very time consuming, you know, effort intensive, which is good. I like high effort. It keeps me engaged. But I really do feel like it's because there comes a certain point where you ask yourself, am I really going to get what I want to get out of this?
Yeah.
Like, is that going to happen? How many layers of RNG or randomness have to align for me to actually get what I want, this optimal piece of gear? Because for me, when I'm doing this kind of a thing, it's because I want to play optimally. Like, I want to be able to just get the gear, build the deck that I want, and have it be an optimal deck to take into PvP and play the game. And it feels like sometimes when I'm doing these grinds, it's like, it's like I was telling Cam, it's like, imagine you're playing a card game. Like, you know, I always make the card game references, like Yu-Gi-Oh, which is the one I play. I'm sure this is the same for like Pokemon or Magic, but you're not allowed to buy singles. You're just buying sealed product. You're opening packs. That's what it feels like. It's like, I cannot just go like, oh, I need this card. And this card is X rare and valued at this price. I'm going to go buy it because that's the card I need. And I do that. I spend the money or whatever it is to get the card I need to make my deck optimal. And that's done. But in Destiny, it's like there's no option for that. You don't know if there's gonna be light at the end of the tunnel. It's just you're opening sealed pack after sealed pack after sealed pack, and hoping that you're going to get what you want. And I don't know, it's kind of rough. So I'd say like I'd really like to see more deterministic rewards. If we're gonna put even if it's a high time investment, I really just think that like light at the end of the tunnel. Show me that there is an end.
That there's hope. That you're not
even
just
if
pulling the
lever. It's still hope. Like it could say do 500 GM Nightfalls. EK's already done a lot. He's done 1,000, so it's doable.
Yeah. I'll just throw out like a made-up example. Tip of my tongue right here. Like, what if you did like 5 Master Nightfalls, or I don't know, 4 Grandmaster Nightfalls, and then, you know, boom, you can pick 1 barrel on your weapon that you want out of every barrel. You go back, you do like 4 or 5 more Grandmasters. You pick your desired perk for column 2. Is that kind of what you're talking about, Drew? Like if you had like a determined, like, this is what I want, like something that you can point to. Like, I want armor with that stat distribution. I want a gun with this roll. And like, tell me what I have to do. Like, if I gotta go kill 1,000,000 hive, like, I'll do it, bro.
I'll go kill 1,000,000 hive because I know at the end of that, I'm gonna say to myself, okay, well, I'm getting what I want. It's, you know, and I feel like in a sunsetting world where we now have, at least for legendary, you're currently, you know, this is going to be going away. You know, like, I think this means we should have a little bit more precedence for deterministic activities or loot drops, and we've seen some of that. The dungeon has been a good example of that, you know, with some of the loot pools, but I think that it could be even a little bit better if our things are going to be phased out.
Like Menagerie, right?
Yeah. I'm 100% behind this.
An awesome activity.
Great activity.
How deterministic it was.
Great activity.
Probably the highest rated activity ever, if you ask me. I've really never heard someone say something bad about it.
Well, it helped that not only were the rewards like great, and it was a great way to reuse rewards that were already in the game, right? But like the actual activity itself was just hella fun. Like, it was the closest thing a lot of people ever got to experiencing raid light mechanics.
That is true, yeah. Because there's still like a shocking number of people out there who have just never raided, like, ever. Like, they've never done a raid in D1, never done a raid in D2, just because they feel like, maybe they don't have the time, not all of their friends play, they're kind of solo, maybe they only have 1 or 2 friends, you know, don't like LFG. But Menagerie was kind of like raid light, good activity, fun, easy to understand, match made, and you can like targeted loot. Like, come on, that's like ideal.
And super farmable at the beginning with the glitch, with the chest glitch, where you could get like 6 or 7
Oh my god, I
or
forgot
9
about that.
per run, depending on how fast you were.
Forgot
Every
about
single
that.
time there's an exploit like that, I say, I'm going to take advantage of this to save me some time in the future. I'm going to grind this hard, clear my schedule, everything. I do like 18-hour day. And on a Menagerie, I did that. And at some point, I was like, good, I think I'm done. But then we'd learn a little bit more about the game months later, like how a perk works, or you know, look at the detailed stats of a weapon. And I'd have to go back. I went back, like, even now I still go back for videos, and because I learned more about a perk. And before sunsetting was announced, I kind of was just content with this. I always had something to grind for because I'd learned something new about the game. Then I'd want to go back and do that old piece of content to go get it, to do something new with my loadouts.
Yeah, I think I would.
With sunsetting, I just can't really tolerate the pure randomness. Before I could.
You know, I think that there is an argument to be made, and I don't know that Bungie will ever do this because they love their RNG, and they love making people grind for stuff. But, you know, we have Armor 2.0. We're getting Ghost 2.0. like at some point in time, is there going to be a realistic push to move to weapons 2.0? And I almost think that they were too friendly with giving us like a one-time unlock mod as opposed to you have to grind to it, right? But like, what if you grind to find a weapon frame and then you grind to find the individual perks that you slot into it, but once you've done all that, then you can pick and choose and slot and do whatever. It would save a ton of vault space. It would save a ton of hassle. It would be super deterministic. And people aren't going to feel as bad about their weapons, being sunset here and there, because you just grind out another frame the next time and slot in the new mods, and you can bring in new mods. I mean, I feel like it's only a matter of time before we start moving in that direction, especially if they are as determined as it seems like they are to sunset gear on a strict rotation. I mean, you can't pretend the community is going to be happy when you force them to grind hundreds of hours in Nightfalls to get a gun that they don't get to use as often as they want to use that thing.
Yeah, you're right.
If they go the route of stat stick legendaries, I'm perfectly okay with sunsetting. It changes nothing to me.
The route of what?
Stat sticks, meaning nothing really changes, but just you see a bigger number.
What do you mean? Nothing changes, but you get the stats are like way higher on the gun, or on
just
the
like
farmer?
think the way you play. Light level cap is 1360, and the next expansion is 1500.
But your previous gun only goes up to 1350 or whatever. Right? So you have to constantly cycle your guns out because the next one has a higher light level. But like fundamentally, the gun itself is stat sticks, or what WoW basically has, like all the weapons and stuff like stat sticks, is the way it was described when they were arguing against stat stakes when we were at Bungie, and they were like, we can't do stat stakes because a weapon fuels a certain way, right? And like the stat stick is like
the hole they've dug themselves in with sunsetting. Certain weapons feel a certain way. They fill a certain niche, and sometimes you have to regrind for that exact same weapon, which makes no sense.
Ouch.
My thing, and I'm sorry, I'm going to go off on this tangent for 1 second.
Do it, buddy.
I love this idea, and I wrote an article about it like 2 years ago, and we talked about it most recently on last week's podcast. But like, I love the idea of having a weapon frame, like the Suros Adaptive AR weapon frame, right? You grind for that, and then we have 6 Suros Adaptive ARs in the game, right? Almost none of them have any variation between the rest of them. They're all within like 2 stat points of each other, right? Which is ridiculous. That's unnecessary variety. The only real difference between them is their color scheme, right? Like I would love to have one Suros Adaptive AR weapon frame that you grind for, and then every other Suros Adaptive AR that we have would be an ornament that you would be able to slot onto to change the color. And then you do that, and you combine it with Weapon 2.0, where you can pick what scopes you want on it, you can pick what perks you want on it, you can pick all that. I think a system like that has the potential to be extremely farmable, right? Extremely, you can basically point like, to get this ornament, you have to do stuff for the Vanguard. To get this ornament, you have to do stuff in Crucible. To get this ornament, you have to do stuff on, Earth or something like that, right? Like it gives people the opportunity to basically build their own weapon. You pick a frame, you put what mods on it you want, you pick the ornament for it you want. Like there's a sense of ownership and a sense of creation over something like that I don't really feel like exists right now in Destiny.
It's a good idea. It's kind of not bad. You really would feel like you kind of raised that weapon yourself. It's like, I put the personal touch. It's like, you get killed by that gun. You're like, yeah, this is my gun. Like
raised it since it was a sidearm.
Yeah, raised it from a Wii frame.
Bring back leveling of weapons and motes of light, and let us use a gun to bring it from common to legendary, right? Like you find a common frame, it has one perk slot on it. You get 100 kills with it, it levels up, and eventually you masterwork it by playing with it. It has 5 perk slots on it.
The crazy thing is that is more content to me than a new destination and a new activity. That right there is being able to sort of work towards the loot that I want to then play the rest of the game with it.
I mean, yeah. I like the rabbit holes that we go down. just gotta let them go. I mean, because we come up with good ideas. Back to the double loot farm. Did y'all actually get anything that you were really looking to get? Like, I wanted that armor, and I got it with a good roll. Or did you get something that you weren't really hoping for, but like, it had a good roll on it? Anybody?
On the Titan, I got everything I wanted.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm very reasonable because I know how much RNG is in this game. I don't want like perfect stats across the board, everything. I want to basically hit the minimum amount of stats needed for a playstyle. And yes, it does matter in PvP. Like, for example, with the Titan barricade, there's a certain amount of time you need before that barricade goes away before you can throw another. Ideally, you want it to be perpetual, meaning the barricade's always up no matter what. That's the goal I shoot for. So I got my Dune Marchers and One-Eyed Mass that enabled that loop right there, while also having very high recovery, like 9 or 10.
Good call.
And so my goal here was to allow my Titan to combat snipers a little bit more. If they want to have the flashlight glint, well, they get to look at me while I'm behind a barricade. And the difference was I used to be able to do that, but not with recovery. What would happen is they'd just take out the primary, fly around, throw a solar grenade, throw the Warlock, mountaintop melee, whatever it's called. That's what I call it, the top tree dawn melee.
The mountaintop melee.
Yeah, the pocket mountaintop.
right. Mountaintop Junior.
But then I wouldn't have the recovery to deal with them. So now I get to have both, which is amazing because the Nightfall enabled that. Got exactly what I wanted.
Good for you, man. Drew or Merc? You guys get anything that actually Merc didn't farm? He got the Skyburner footage though. Drew, did you get any armor rolls that you were like, yeah, man, that's like I was looking for that?
Yeah, I got an improvement on the 6 Coyote, so I'm happy about that. That's the main exotic I use, so
yep.
I'm happy about that. I'll take an improvement. I got a better Dragon Shadow, which is another exotic I like a lot, so that's great.
He's underselling that. I saw that Dragon Shadow. The thing is wild.
Oh, yeah.
Is it really good?
Both of these had like nearly like.
Tell me the roll, Drew. Come on.
Perfect rolls.
Open up dim there, buddy.
Low mobility, low strength. Everything else was like pretty high.
Good call.
And then the 6 Coyote was really high recovery, moderate discipline, low resilience, high mobility. It's pretty good. So
good for you.
It fit the niches of like what I wanted in both of those. Most other exotics that I like want for the future I had. I'm trying to think what else I got. Oh, and then I got an improvement on the young Ahamkara spine. Is that the right one? I always forget the name of this.
The Trip Mine.
The Trip Mine
gauntlets
that
I was talking about the other week. So I wanted a better one of those. I got that, which was nice. So
good.
Yeah, I got what I want.
Good for you, man. Yeah, I was really only looking for like a really baller 6th Coyote, which I did not get. But I got maybe like 8 or so pieces of armor where I checked on dim. And like I had an old roll and I was like, oh, it's garbage. I was like, I can replace it now, you know? So if I ever want to whip that armor out, I don't have to feel like I'm like really shafting myself because it's just a terrible roll.
Yeah.
Do you think that Bungie is going to do another, maybe not another double loot Nightfall? Do you think they're going to do another double loot something? Or what do you think they're going to, I mean, that's kind of a really
I'd imagine the
question,
data on their side is resounding, saying that people dislike the RNG so much that they're willing to do the most efficient method possible.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine that they would do something. Not really sure what that would be, but I think it was a success. I talked to a lot of people who almost never play Nightfalls, and they were like, yeah, man, I'm farming.
I never even mentioned this is how it should have been, the GM, I think. That if the loot was that generous from the get-go, I think it would have had much better reception. And yes, Iron Banner would be sick.
Because Iron Banner is the only other thing that's like super, super stingy right now, I feel like, comparatively. Like, all the other guns I've wanted, you know, we have the Umbral Ingrams and everything like that for that. But, like, Iron Banner is still, like, I've now played 3 Iron Banners and have not even come close to the sidearm or the auto rifle that I really want.
That you're looking for, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now this would be an interesting one. I just thought of it.
Go on.
Iron Banner campaign. You get an Iron Banner token for every Guardian you kill that is higher light than you. So we'd be playing this mind game of how low can you go with that. I think some people would do it. I think some people would tank it really, really low.
They might, yeah. Oh, that's pretty funny. Well, good. I'm glad that the whole double loot thing went over well. I know a lot of people were hype about it. If you have any ideas, if you're listening at home and you think that you got a really great idea for what Bungie should do for either another double loot event or, I don't know, some unique endgame farmable activity, let us know on Twitter. You know where we are on Twitter. Hit us up. But let's move on. We've already talked a little bit about exotics, mostly in the context of farming them. But let's move on to exotics and how they're going to perform in Beyond Light. It's kind of really, really open-ended here, but do you suspect that any exotic weapon or armor is going to be really coveted for value in Beyond Light with the information that we know? I mean, like, you know, for the new subclasses, for how you think PvP is going to be, for anything at all.
I mean, I'll start.
Yeah, go.
Fridger.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the Bombardiers come to mind.
And
previously, you dodge and everyone just, you know, has their full movement speed. But if they get slowed down, they have to deal with the Bombardiers.
That is a good point.
Which, for viewers, is an exotic where if you dodge as a hunter, it drops a grenade on the floor.
Cool Guy is a big, big fan of the Bombardiers. He will frequently put them on to try and, like, style and or meme on people when we play together. So I have to imagine that he is really looking forward to that kind of a combo. That would be really funny. Like, if you're just coming around and like right there and there's a group of people, just dodge back with the bomb. Now they're slowed and damaged. You just finish them off. Especially if you have, like, I don't know, Last Word Sniper or something like that. That might be a really fun combo.
I wonder if someone Bombardier dodges near you, can you shoot their grenade to damage them?
Oh, damn, that's a good idea.
That would be the Uno reverse card. Just like, I may be
no,
slow, but I'm not dumb. Just last word hit fire the Bombardier, take them out. But any other exotics on the radar?
Didn't we say last episode, like, anything that has to do with a hunter dodge is going to be, or has
I think we did mention that.
To be
yeah, we touched on this. I think we're expanding on it now.
Yeah, I mean, the potential, like I said, we don't know how freezing works necessarily. We don't know how it interacts with slowing someone, and then whether that enables them to, you know, be frozen from that position, or whether freezing is just something that happens. But, you know, if it is like once you are slowed, the next hit freezes you, then obviously Six Coyote is going to be disgustingly dirty, because you can basically double dodge to freeze people. We don't know that that's going to work, just like we don't know if Tommy's matchbook or solar weapons are going to melt stasis, right, or anything like that. I can only assume.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to go that deep into the interaction between the different.
Probably
like,
not. But
I don't even know. Have they even confirmed that we're going to have stasis weapons, or have they?
I don't know if that's been mentioned yet. It reminds me of we haven't gotten to questions yet, but I think we did have a user question about, here we go, here's one from Wayne. What current exotics in the game do you think will be changed to become a stasis-based element? Which, like, I hadn't thought about that at all.
Cold Heart is the obvious one, because it's
probably
ice,
yeah.
Right? And
it's kind of okay, like an ice theme. Here I was thinking Max Payne bullet time, you know.
No, but I mean, also a question is, like, if they are going to make stasis weapons, which I assume they are, even though that's just purely an assumption. I don't think we've seen anything so far that suggests they are going to do that. Are they going to put it in the elemental slot with everything else? Because it's already crowded as, you know, as all get out. Like, wouldn't it be kind of something that matches more with kinetic? Like, you now have multiple options in your kinetic slot. You can do stasis, or you can do normal kinetic. Or are we just going to have arc, solar, void, stasis all in the elemental slot? In which case, like, to me, it is kind of getting pretty crowded at this point.
I hadn't thought about that. My first thought would be, yeah, they're probably going to crowd it. I can't imagine they would try to have stasis compete with kinetic. That would be like, because are there going to be enemies in the game with like a stasis shield? Because then I would probably just run stasis and whatever other elemental is required for that strike or activity.
Or not even that.
Like,
is it going to be hypermobile enemies that need stasis abilities?
Yeah. To slow them down or something like that.
But what if there's not stasis shields, right? Like, if there are no stasis shields, then, you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, how does it work? Or maybe just stasis isn't going to be a type of weapon. Maybe it's only going to be an energy for subclasses. But that seems weird to me. We've never seen anything.
Yeah, that would be weird.
They're going to rework Two-Tailed Fox, the rocket launcher, one stasis, one without.
Thinking about exotics to pair with abilities. Refresh my memory here. Isn't the new Warlock tree? I can't remember if it's by default or if it's by that new what's that new feature called? The two further
aspects.
Thank you, the aspect and fragment combination. I remember that the Warlock, if they drop a Rift with the right combo, I think any enemy that comes into the Rift would become slowed down or even frozen, like if they didn't leave the Rift altogether.
Right.
What can you think of build-wise, like for like building a deck right now?
Vesper of Radius.
Yeah, for like a team to go in completely and it's like our goal is to pollute the map with like nonstop rifting.
Stag, 100% stag.
I was gonna say stag is gonna be interesting.
Stag would be really cool.
When I run Empowering Rift and like Le Monarch or something that I'm trying to one shot with my Empowering Rifts, I use stag, and in PvP. I don't think people.
Did he cut out there?
Yep.
Nah. He's pausing for dramatic effect.
Oh, he got hit by the stasis ability.
He got hit. Drew, did you hunt or dodge? I told you to turn off the coyote.
Alt F4 to break out of stasis.
I think we got him back.
People realize
there we go.
How I don't think people realize how often perks that trigger on critically wounded like actually proc in PvP. Right. So I always use the stag when I want to get as many rifts as I possibly can for Empowering Rifts, so I can get my damage bonus up, so I can one shot people with whatever weapons. Right. But like critically wounded triggers all the time.
A lot.
And you're not always dying when you're critically wounded too. Everyone assumes like, oh, you hit critically wounded, you're dead. Like, no, you get critically wounded and heal all the time. So I mean, the stag is still kind of a ridiculous exotic to begin with.
What if that interaction with the stag freezes them on your death because it makes a healing rift? Now you see why I put the devil horns on.
I like it.
That's Warrior Dom 2.0.
God.
We're coming back to Call of Duty.
What if you had, you get ready for the double devil horns, what if you have 6 players in quick play running the stag, maximize your stats so you're getting as much rift energy as you can, like nonstop, and everyone is running with the Wither Horde. It's like just the entire battlefield is this huge minefield. Yeah. Don't step in the taken goo, bruh. But that would be like, oh man, that would just be a really
on the same note,
combo.
I'm so curious how Vesper of Radius would work, because that pushes people away from the rift. But if the rift also freezes or slows down, how does that work? Does it push? Does it pull? Does it freeze? Does it just alt F4 their game like Telesto used to do? Speaking of which, Telesto would probably be cool with Stasis just for zoning.
Oh yeah, that would be great. I feel like with Stasis there is a lot of potential for.
I glossed over that. Telesto used to crash people's games if you shot at too many Telesto projectiles at them.
Really?
So you used to be able to boot people out of your public spaces if you just disliked them. You just shoot Telesto everywhere when they go AFK.
Don't be doing that. What about a build? Well, like, what if grenades are like totally cracked? Like the new Stasis grenade that can like freeze people and all that. What would your build be on any Guardian, any exotic that you feel would like really pimp?
The Titan exotic. You throw a barricade or melee, and it enhances your grenade.
Because then you get a double whammy.
Cooldown and lethality.
Yeah. Oh, that is true. Man. I don't know if I'm like excited or horrified to freeze people in PvP.
A bunch of warlocks all rocking Aeon Soul.
Because they would all
grenade energy.
Oh god.
I was actually going to mention.
What have you done?
Yeah.
Does dodging, and that works for hunters, so dodging grants dodging.
Oh god.
That's what I was going to mention. So I think that the Aeon exotics need. I think they need a little bit of a tuning to be at the exotic tier of other exotics. But I remember back in year 1, something that I liked was like the Aeon exotics actually at the time before Armor 2.0 and everything gave you higher stats than other exotic armor pieces. So if you wanted to just maximize on your stats and you were kind of down to give up, quote unquote, your exotic option, you could do that, because the Aeon exotics would give you more stats than any other piece of armor. And it would give you more of a support oriented build that you didn't have to think about. And for Hunter, that was very prevalent because your Hunter dodge comes up so frequently, and you're just going to be feeding ability energy to your teammates, regardless of if they're using the Aeon exotic or not. So if we revisit that kind of train of thought where, you're going to be dodging anyways, and you're going to, if you're playing Stasis, be dodging to slow people, might as well be feeding your teammates with more energy to capitalize on the fact that you've slowed someone, or just in general to slow other people or apply their own effects. I think that could actually be like pretty interesting.
I see what you mean. It's like team uptime on abilities. Since the grenade or the warlock enables you to push in, you're refunding it by dodging near somebody to finish the kill.
Yeah, and I don't think that teammates really even have to use that. I think they could be using their own things. I think it's just definitely most beneficial on Hunter because the Hunter dodge is the most frequently, very
frequent, quick charge. Yeah.
It's got the most uptime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting in year 1 with the Aeons because back in the day, Stompies didn't buff the other jumps. It was just high jumps. So your options on Hunter were pretty slim. So when matches got tough, people told lesser skilled players to just throw on Aeon to feed Devour to people because it would feed the Warlock grenades.
Yeah, true.
I wanted to talk about Gemini Jester as well. Actually, I mean, before that, another good exotic I was thinking about it for the Warlock. I feel like this exotic is relatively overshadowed is the Ahamkara gauntlets that give you the double melee charge.
Oh yeah, sure.
Is it the Warlock's melee? I always
the claws of Ahamkara,
the melee,
right?
the ranged staff.
I think the melee is the ranged staff. Yeah, there's another staff attack on the super, the roaming super. I think. Yeah, but I do think that they mentioned that the melee fires out those little orbs from the staff. Yeah, that could be a sick combo.
So if that is if that melee is very good or very strong, why not have it more often? So there's that. I wanted to talk about Gemini Jester because Mark brought it up. I don't know. I'm on the fence about these. I feel like Gemini Jesters are a win more in the context of Stasis because it's like, okay, so you're gonna go dodging and slow them, and you take their radar, but like, do you need to take their radar if they're like slowed? Is that the best thing that you could be doing to them on top of slowing them? I feel like even Bombardiers have a better case than Gemini Jesters in that scenario.
I think it probably depends how effective slowing is, right? Like if slowing, the only thing it does is limit their like movement, their physical movement speed, but they can still aim exactly as they normally would. They can still shoot exactly as they normally would. They can still throw, grenades exactly as they normally would. Well, then I feel like, getting rid of their radar is probably a good thing because then they're slowed. You know exactly where they are pretty much because you get a damage tick on them. And you basically then have your choice of how you want to assault them. And if they're not looking at you, they can't dodge whatever it is you're doing. Like you're basically, if they guess wrong, which they will if you're a good player, like you're going to kill them. It's a free kill. Whereas if slowing is something like as effective as a flashbang does, where like it has more effects than just physically rooting them to the spot, then I feel like, well, yeah, then it's not really necessary, right? Because they're not going to, it depends how lethal slowing is on its own. If slowing is basically like you're pretty much going to die when you're slowed, then you don't need Gemini Jesters. If slowing is literally just you are physically slow, because like what is it, the spider web mines that like when you walk into them and they like flash your screen, slow you, like if it's something like that, you don't need Gemini Jesters on top of that, right? But if it's literally just perfectly clear screen, I can still see everything, I just can't strafe very quickly, then I feel like it would hurt me more as a player to also have lost my radar in that point in time.
I think that they in a Bungie post, forget which one, they had like a little summarization of an infographic of the Stasis stuff. They said that slow would reduce accuracy, I believe.
Whoa,
shit!
That would be
mistaken.
You gotta find that
certain.
like
I don't know if someone
right now.
Chat currently can confirm that.
Mouse and keyboard just entered the chat. They're not lowering accuracy.
Yeah, I am begging somebody listening at home to find that information if it's real, because holy lord, I'm about to have like nightmares.
I'm positive I saw that. I'm gonna go look at it. But
please, I'm begging you,
positive.
put a bounty on that, like right now, like an IRL bounty, bro.
That's wild.
I can't. Stasis sounds really strong. I can't get over how strong it just seems on. Okay, please read, Drew.
All right, so slow. It says greatly reduces enemy movement speed, weapon handling, and accuracy and ability energy regeneration.
Please, can you send me that link like right now?
How is this so overlooked?
Yeah, sure.
Why is this?
Did you find that on? Yeah, did you find that on Pornhub? Like, where is this hot juicy link, bro?
It was
like,
a comment.
Dude, it's too hot for YouTube. This content. That is wild.
Yeah, in the.
Hit me on in a Twitter DM. I can't read the. Yeah, I can't read the group chatter. It's gonna minimize the whole. It's a whole thing.
It is there.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I'm nearly positive.
Wild,
I'm like
bro.
I saw this right. I was like I had to think about that for a moment.
They did the infographic wrong. It says slow, freeze, shatter. It should say miss, freeze, shatter. See, I would have read it then.
Curse of cones.
Yeah.
Ruin the cones.
Hey, baby.
I mean, this just feeds into like I trust Bungie, but like my worry is how is this going to feel when you're having it happen to you in PvP, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, it's not tremendously fun in a game as mobile as Destiny to have your mobility hampered. And it's not tremendously fun to miss shots when you are aiming at a target because the game decides that it no longer wants you to hit things. Those are like two of the most frustrating things that can happen to me as a player. And this is basically like, hey, when a hunter dodges next to you, you have permanent bloom on your gun. Like,
ghost bullets again. Oh no.
I mean, I hope it's not like that. Maybe it's just talking about like PvE enemies can't shoot you for shit. They already really can't. But
maybe this is wild. I cannot believe I didn't read that. Like that. Wow.
Drew just ruined my day.
I mean, it was really funny because I think someone brought this to my attention because at one time I was memeing with people in chat, you know, like murder cones, haha, funny. And we were saying like if you could have a gun or like I don't know, a way of like inflicting a status effect, what it would be. And I said, I guess canonically it would have to be I have to ruin the other person's accuracy.
Sure,
I'm a cone guy.
Yeah.
So that this has to be my answer. I don't have any other answer to give. There was if a debuff in accuracy was a status effect, that would be the one I inflicted people.
Wow.
And then I read this, someone brought it to my attention. I was like, hey, Curse of Cones. All right, there we go. That's what I'll be using. It's canon.
Confirmed canon. The anti-cone attack. Yeah, man, like originally my plan was like, okay, slowing people, yeah, that's going to be fun. And like, depending on how effective it is, yeah, you could cripple them without even trying to care about freezing them at all. I mean, freezing obviously is going to be the most effective thing, but reading it, yeah, everything that slow has the ability to do, I'm just like blown away at how effective. And that's like the base level, right? That's like
that is
the base level effect on what you can do to other people.
Slow, freeze, shatter. So
right. So like we're starting at the ground floor. Yeah. Reduce movement speed, weapon handling, ability regeneration, and accuracy.
I tell you what, man, grenade launchers looking like a snack. Like, what do I need accuracy for?
God, yeah, you slow the enemy, and you make it. They have to go to the bathroom. You hurt their credit score. They just feel bad for the rest. They just feel bad.
PS5 pre-order.
Oh, good God. Yeah, wow, that's strong. Write to us on Twitter how you feeling about the new Stasis subclass and all that. Do you think it's strong? Do you think it's weak? What do you think about it? We want to hear from you. But before we jump over to questions, quick personal note: did any of you guys pre-order the new box or the PS5 or anything like that?
I got the Series S, and it was actually really easy. It was my first attempt. I literally just went to Xbox.com and was like,
"Did you really first attempt?" And you
click pre-order and pre-ordered a Series S. And
I think that means you're the chosen one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get the Series X too. My plan was always to get two of them because I have an office and then I have a living room. And my girlfriend, like tonight, was like bogarting in the living room watching Dancing with the Stars or something with a friend.
Right.
So it's like, cool. I can't do anything now. So I wanted to get like a a Series S or something for my upstairs office so that when she's doing that, I can still play on my own. And then I don't have a 4K TV yet, but I'm gonna get one this Christmas. So I was like, I'll just get the Series X when I get my 4K TV. Because that's really what I need it for. So I'll do that upgrade at the same time. So I'm not going to buy that day one. But yeah, I got the Series S, which I was pretty happy about.
Good for you, man. Good for
Most
you.
confusing naming system ever. Really, really poorly chosen. Names.
Yeah. I read a meme of like, it's gonna be like, this holiday season, and it just shows like a mom walking into like a gaming store. And it's like, yeah, I want to buy an Xbox for my kid for Christmas. It's like, do you want the Xbox 360, the Xbox One, the Xbox One S, Xbox X, like all the 100 names of the. She's just like.
I mean, I hope it's not another Wii U thing. Like, I'm pretty into the gaming community, and I didn't know when the Wii U came out that it wasn't like an accessory for the Wii. Like, it took me a legitimate time,
right.
You know, to be like, oh, it's the Wii 2.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, they should have said it. So,
Drew, Cammy, you guys you on that PC life forever, boys?
I was thinking about pre-ordering the new Xbox. I was going to, and it was only like last minute that I was like, you know what? I don't think I need to right now. I really thought about it.
Not urgent,
like,
right?
Do I need any launch titles? Like, I want to play Destiny, but like, do I need to be buying this now, or should I just wait for like some sort
like
of
a sale or like holiday
like
package?
Yeah,
Halo Infinity bundle.
Yeah, like I kind of just like brought myself back to planet Earth and was like, I like saving money and being smart with my money. Is this a purchase I really need? I'm like, perhaps not. We'll get it later down the line.
Sure.
I needed it day one for one reason and one reason only, and that is 60 FPS Destiny 2 on console. Like,
I mean, you main console, so like I totally get it. And you know what? If, like I said, the cheating situation doesn't get any better, and I have enough friends that are down to just be like, back to console, I'm going back to console. But I mean, I don't think we have enough of a commitment right on release and everything. Well, I don't think anything will be stopping me from getting one post-release, so I didn't think I needed day one.
Cammy, what about you?
As a content creator, I pretty much have to get it anyway, but currently there's no launch exclusives or anything that makes me need it now, especially considering all the Xbox Game Pass stuff is on PC anyway.
True.
I wasn't too crazy about the PlayStation lineup as well. So at the moment, I'm waiting for a good special edition or a good deal. Either one I will take.
That's fair. Yeah, I haven't gotten one yet either, mainly because I'm lazy. But I am looking forward to the 60 FPS D2. And before you meme me at home, I play on PC as well. I love the experience on PC. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. If there were no cheaters, I would be there forever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what we don't like?
Yeah,
cheaters. You know what console doesn't have?
Cheaters. Yeah, yeah. You kind of have to. It's like give and take. You know what I mean? Like no cheaters, but 60 FPS or 30 FPS. Good lord, I can't believe I'm saying that. 30 FPS and no adjustable FOV. Ooh.
Hurt your eyes or hurt your soul?
Yeah, hurt your soul. Yeah, your eyes or your soul.
But, yeah. Also, we forgot to mention this. Chromatic fire.
Go on.
Gives an explosion in the element of your equipped subclass. Does that mean that it is going to give stasis explosions?
Ooh.
When you get kinetic kills with it.
Oh, I'm about to get the devil horns again. That's genius.
Like that idea.
Spicy thinking.
Yeah, so
making them walking in a winter wonderland over there.
I hope Bungie has foreseen these things and has tested them internally, because it will be a heck of an unpleasant surprise if they didn't realize that it does that, and every kinetic kill you get sends stasis shards out and, freezes everyone in the radius of whoever you killed.
Even slowing is enough.
Yeah. Everyone at home, write that down. Don't tweet at Bungie. Hopefully they forgot it. We got some fun piece of info right off the bat for day one Beyond Light. Anyway, let's do a couple of community questions real quick while we wind down. We kind of already covered this. If there's any more, get them out of the way now. From Russian05, what are some lesser used exotic armor pieces the players should put some time into heading towards Beyond Light? I think we already covered a good amount. Covered what? The Aeon, which we think might be cash.
Yep.
Claws of Ahamkara could be cash. You get your 6th Coyote. Maybe the Gemini. Maybe not.
Bombardiers.
Bombardiers, yeah.
Stag, potential interactions.
What about for the Titan? I don't think we mentioned any Titan exotic yet.
Oh, yeah.
Heart of Most Light is a go-to.
Heart of Most Light. Okay, that's good one.
Well, with the Titan's melee ability, I would say, I mean, this should come as no surprise, but Dune Marchers.
Dunes, yeah. Freeze, and then they're stuck in the electric field.
Oh, good lord.
So
that might be a good one.
Jeez.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Here's one from ODST Zombie. Is the Season of Arrival's curated gnawing hunger worth farming for from Reckoning, or is a subsistence role equivalent? I can't even remember what the curated role is.
It was Overflow.
What even is the curated role?
Oh. Overflow is fun, but it's not necessary.
The real goat is auto-loading holster.
Yeah.
For PvE or PvP?
PvE.
No.
Overflow is really good for PvP, though.
Yeah.
It is fun shooting forever, like without reloading.
But you can get Overflow on the Summoner, so just use that.
There you go.
I mean,
maybe he doesn't like playing
the thing is, though,
PvP.
it's like, if you're into PvE and it's like, I'm assuming, let's just run based on the assumption that like someone's not playing PvP as much. I think that's actually a really good role to farm for. I think that's like probably one of the best roles you can get for PvE.
Yeah.
I mean, subsistence, sure, it's like cool and all, but technically speaking, you're still taking a hit to your reserves. So I think that Overflow role is like top notch for PvE. If you take PvE seriously in any capacity, perhaps that is something you want to get.
That sounds really fun to use in strikes, because it'll be sunset.
Can you get the curated gnawing hunger from the prismatic recaster machine, or no?
No, that's why he was asking if he should
go.
Oh,
got it. Should he go suffer for the curated role?
Yeah, but the curated one is getting sunset, so it's not worth it.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yes.
What happened?
The curated is getting sunset. Yes, I own it.
Oh, then I'm gonna say no. But you do you, bruh.
I thought it wasn't going to be.
Why would it not be?
Oh, did they amend that later? Because I deleted it.
Oh, God.
I don't think it will be getting sunset.
Well, you mean for
Pretty
Beyond
certain.
Light, or...
Yeah, Chat seems to think it will not... Oh, we're not supposed to talk about chat, but they can edit this out. Chat seems to think it will not be getting sunset. They say it has a 1360 power cap.
A 1360.
Well, that's pretty cool. I'm still
because
on
it counts as
that's pretty fresh.
It counts as a beyond. You have to. I think it's because if you have an old one, it is not a this season, whatever season we're in.
Wait, so you have to reobtain it?
I assume so, right? Because when it drops now, it is counting as a Season of Arrivals, right? That's the season we're in. Season of Arrivals drop, and its current it's a Season of Arrivals, so it would have the cap of Season of Arrivals.
That is the worst part of sunsetting. Is literally having the exact same gun and having to re-earn it with a higher power cap.
Having this discussion out of confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Oh, God. Freaking sunsetting, man. It's like, just complicates any answer. Like, we should just only be focusing on, like, are the perks good? Like, not
it's
like,
always
how long can we use
situational
the gun
dependent,
for?
you know, what activity are you doing in PvE? Subsistence is a good, does anything well. And then you have auto-loading for specifically boss and champion DPS and that sort of thing, so you can cycle weapons. And then Overflow would be the next best.
Mad about it. Well, the good news is we talked about both sunsetting and cones in one episode, so check off your bingo cards if you're listening at home. Gospel of Goose. Dragon's Breath, but Stasis when? Is the Dragon's Breath that old rocket launcher?
Yes.
Yeah, the solar.
That made the solar nade. Oh, so he wants an exotic that can shoot just like an ice ball at someone.
A snowball launcher.
Oh, dude, I don't like the sound of that.
So it's not Dragon's Breath. It'd be like Yeti farts or something like that.
Something like that.
Everyone, I want, if you're listening right now, to please go either on the forums or on Twitter and tweet at Bungie. Please make the Yeti fart gun real. So I don't care when you do it, some point tonight, whenever you listen. I want to see that on Twitter. Here's one from Shrewd Shogun. Please talk about how the current subclasses will fare against Stasis. Also, it seems that Bungie is trying to move away from gunplay, and matches will be about abilities that freeze and slow down the game area control, not looking forward to being a sitting frozen duck. That is a really real concern. I mean, like, the more we talk about it. Of course, all we can do right now is speculate. When none of us have played, any advanced version of Beyond Light. We don't know beyond the info we have or have watched in a trailer. But it does seem like abilities are going to become even hotter, like
colder.
Colder, yes, they will become even colder. So what do you guys think on that? Are you guys even gonna like? It's hard to know how to counter what you have not yet experienced. Any thoughts on that in general?
Yeah, I think that it's a valid fear, but I think that in an ideal world, we have now two types of playstyles that like come up. We have the traditional fast-paced fly in when you have enough pressure, high mobility, right? And then that's always been the norm. Like that's been Destiny, right? And people enjoy that, sure. Maybe some people don't, whatever. But I think now instead of like I think Destiny 2 is in a place where it's now faster than Destiny 1. Like I'm pretty certain the movement speed or the net movement speed, if you want to call it that, meaning like between like Top Tree Dawn, the movement exotics, all that kind of stuff, it's faster than Destiny 1. I think that's a reason for a lot of the Destiny 1 maps playing almost worse because of the movement speed, and them being a little more packed together. So instead of taking that away or like toning that down, I feel like they're now bringing forward like this other dynamic, which is going to be, I guess, CCs or crowd control. And I hope to see in an ideal world that CCs aren't just free win buttons, and it's more like, hey, I'm going to make you think about what you're pushing, because if you don't think about it, and if you do want to just fly at me with, as you're used to, I'm going to punish you for it. And there's going to be a tug of war between playstyles of like someone that really likes to bait people and try and make them overcommit and then punish them really hard versus people that want to play really fast paced. And I think that maybe the best teams will have players that are good at both. And that might be really, really cool. So I understand the fears are very real. And this all comes down on people like, Bungie like balancing this well and accordingly. But I think a dynamic in a game in which we have two different playstyles of like people that want to bait a little bit more and get those people to overcommit more and have a little bit more of a mastery of the mechanics of their abilities. I think that's cool, combined, with the other playstyle of just high speed, fast paced kind of like gunplay. I think that's interesting. Like I mentioned, my gunslinger build with the trap knife and the Ahamkara trip mines, I kind of assume that's how Stasis is going to play in a way. And man, a lot of people, and I've been using it like in Face It and like scrims, a lot of people just do not respect your abilities and just want to fly through anyways. And I think for those people, you're going to have a very rude awakening when you have abilities that will literally take away your accuracy, as we've learned. So I think that's actually really interesting in an ideal world where they're both balanced well. That's my
sure.
On that.
So like you're kind of hopeful that it's not going to maybe riddle the game with no gun skill, all ability spam, but it's maybe going to cause players to think more critically.
Yeah, I think that you're going to have to. People are going to have to change the way they play.
Sure. Yeah, probably.
And they need to be making good decisions. When you fly in against someone, you need to be making sure that you are doing it at the right moment or at the right time to capitalize. Not just, I hold forward, smile. Like, you're going to get punished.
So it's going to freeze all the apes, is basically what you're saying. All the apes are going to run into
will be frozen.
Snowballs. Or
and just the threat of the freezing is going to make them say, you know what, maybe I don't push in. Let's work this with the primary.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I think that's a good hope. I think I can get behind that, Now,
I do fear that on some maps, like let's say Widow's Court, that Top Tree Dawn is still going to run uncontested, and there's nothing you can do to take that bird down, but we'll see.
Yeah. Like I said, I agree that I don't think the high mobility playstyles are going to go anywhere. I don't think Stompy Hunters are going to go anywhere. I don't think Top Tree Dawn's going anywhere. I think those things are still going to always be valuable. I think they're just too good.
I would probably agree. Yeah. It's not going to neutralize or it's not going to remove them from the game or make them like not good. It's just going to cause people to maybe think a little bit more or change their playstyle a little bit with new additions to the sandbox. Probably.
You got to respect the stasis now.
You got to respect it. Got to respect the ice. Sorry, it's not ice. Don't call it ice. Bungie will get mad. Don't call it ice. It's not ice. Here's a question from Doughboy. What other weapon types or archetypes do you want in the game?
Trace rifles that are legendary would be awesome. And
good call. Yeah.
True kinetic fusion rifles would be the two.
True kinetic fusion. Dude, aren't you a Bastion guy? You're like making your girlfriend upset
and I love
now.
Bastion,
your girlfriend being
Bastion is an exotic, and sometimes I would like to use Skyburner's Oath, and I can't because I'm using Bastion,
okay. So we're talking like a legendary.
Yeah.
Kinetic.
Like an Aaron
right.
Zolvitz kinetic or something like that.
Fair. Like a junk gun. You just like fire a wave of trash in their face. Like just not just, like an energy
call
ball.
Call it a railgun or whatever it is that you
I like it. Sure. Drew, Cam, what do you got?
I want to see something called a hip fire frame where ADS just isn't necessary.
That's an
sure, that may
idea.
take a little bit away from the last word in Tommy's matchbook, but last word's 225 RPM, and I think it has that going for it, as well as the fan fire and whatnot.
Yeah.
It'd just be kind of cool. You know how lightweight has like the mobility baked into it? I'd like to see something with hip fire baked into it. Just that simple.
Yeah, that would be pretty badass.
Really cool.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about that. I was thinking of more like, like a flamethrower. I don't know. Anything from you, Drew?
I don't know what I would want. It's
hard. It's a hard question to think
I'm far
about.
less invested in balance or the balance of the game, to be honest. Like I still care about relative balance, but like I care a lot less about overall balance and just make something that looks cool.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's fair. Here's one from Dan Hammer. What are the thoughts on them being Bungie, mentioning thermal scopes in the weather update today? Also, could there be a potential of a PvP map that has a live weather system? First of all, the thing with the thermal scope, they did mention that, but like in the trailer, is that like really, are there really going to be like thermal scopes, or it's just that scope that we already have that like highlights the enemy in the red?
I feel like we already have it. That is
that's what they're talking about. The scopes that like highlight people. Like, yeah. That'd be awesome if we had like a Predator vision scope. That would be really cool. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
COD did it, right? They had the IR scopes that turned people into bright white lights and everything else into gray.
True.
Yep.
That would be cool.
But the live weather. Cloudy with a chance of cheaters. Like, no, please.
What about the PvP map with like active weather? What do you think about that?
Is this like Super Smash Bros. Dreamland where the tree just
where the trees like
blows you off the sky.
blowing off the
Any
map.
warlock that's up in the air just
gets drifted away. Oh, that'd be funny.
I don't know. I mean, does it affect gameplay? If it affects gameplay, that's a dangerous road to go down. But I mean, if it's just skybox stuff, sure. They already have maps in the daytime and the nighttime, right? Like, there's some weather in there and make it look like it's snowing or something.
That would be cool.
As long as it doesn't affect gameplay severely, it can't be like Pokemon, like, oh, solar beam charges.
Well, imagine them blizzarding it and like shitting on visibility so that snipers are useless.
Yeah.
And it like kills visibility so that you have to fight close range. I mean,
wait, that sounds sick. Like if every 15 seconds the storm kind of rolls in, you know.
And then
if you're not
starts
moving,
playing
you get frozen to the
full
spot,
volume.
So campers just get cemented to the ground.
Cammy, let's roll with the Pokemon theme. All right, if you go into the map and then the sun comes out, all solar energy or all solar abilities charge twice as quick. Whoa.
Right.
If it's cloudy and you're in your Dawnblade, you just get taken.
The arc abilities.
Yeah, the arc. Everything gets a chain lightning. Yeah,
and then when it's nighttime, the void abilities.
It's actually not. Oh God, I really hope Bungie's not listening to this right now.
We have ideas, Bungie. Listen to us.
Yeah. We're crazy, man. We're crazy. I'll send you the invoice. All right, well, we got time for one more. One from Dylan. Dylan, you son of a bitch. If you could improve any current exotic to be better, what exotic would it be? And what change would you make? Bring it up, buddy. Whip up Dim.
I gotta think about this one.
Big question.
Any exotics or weapon or armor?
Whatever you want. He didn't specify. Jeez, Dylan is not a stickler.
There's a lot of exotics that need help.
There's so many that it's hard to pick a good answer. So I'm gonna do my best.
I would probably buff Bastion. Give it a little bit more range than it already has. Maybe a faster
there we
charge
go.
time.
Yeah, make it an instant charge time.
Yeah, the player numbers just aren't high enough. Yeah. Hey, I actually argued for that when we were at Bungie and we were testing One-Eyed Mask. I was like, this is going to be so incredibly good. You guys don't need to nerf Wormhusk because comparatively, Wormhusk is worse in its current state than One-Eyed Mask is going to be when it releases.
Yeah.
But they were like, and then they did.
That is funny. Did that actually happen? That's
pretty, yeah. The One-Eyed Mask tests were really, really fun. We had a bunch of people like using it and being like, it's like iffy, like so. I'm not really sure I understand what it is. And I had like a kill clip bygones, and I was like, this will be the only thing I touch.
Are we doing personal story at Bungie time? I mean, like, Cammy, are we cool to mention the time we went there? Like, because that's long gone, but we went there together for not like, tweak this. It was just like, just tell us how the content plays. You know what I'm talking about? So we went there for before season of the Forge. So all the Forge activity, they wanted us to like play the Forge stuff and just give feedback. And by then it was already done. So if you're listening.
I have a bone to pick with that one, Fallout. I gave feedback as though like, it's just like, your typical seasonal activity. I mean, I'll do it a little bit. I ended up doing it the most, I think, of any player.
Yeah. So it wasn't like we play tested it and they were like, okay, tell us what you want to change. Is this weapon broken or not? You know what I mean? Because again, by then it was already locked and loaded. They were just like, how do you just think that your
they just wanted
community
vibes, not.
It was like a vibe check, yeah. We weren't like, because Cammy and I were both taking notes. Like we told him plenty of things, but one weapon that was included in there, like, hey, we're gonna let you try a couple of weapons that are coming out, and one of them was the mountaintop. And Cammy and I, we were literally sitting next to each other, station to station, and we looked at each other. We were like, this gun's gonna be really fucking good, dude. Like, it's like a really strong weapon.
We both had the like J. Jonah Jameson, like, you serious?
Yes. It's pretty wild. It's pretty funny, the stuff.
I remember Breakneck being a chainsaw, like
it was the early version of Breakneck. We were like, holy lord. It was just really fun.
Think like double recluse, like that's how I would describe Breakneck.
Yeah. And I think we got the Jotun too, but back then it wasn't called the Jotun, it was called something else, and I think it was a little weaker then, but I don't know. It was a fun experience. Fun experience.
It was called the Toaster.
The Toaster. The Mega Man, I think we called it back then. But
okay, now back on topic.
Back on topic. Story time is over. Yeah, what exotic would you improve?
I think my armor would be Aeon's. Obvious pick.
The Aeon.
Creative. My weapon, I feel like I'm obliged to say Mida, please. The Catalyst is beyond useless. Like, there's no way of.
It's been a bone that we've been trying to pick forever.
Just improve the Catalyst.
Just improve the Catalyst, man.
That's one of the few hills, I guess.
And what weapon needs a Catalyst? Does the Monarch have a Catalyst right now? Give the Monarch a Catalyst.
So.
I don't think it has an ornament either.
Goddamn cowards. It doesn't have an ornament. That really does actually piss me off. Like, some exotics have like 2, 3, 4 ornaments. You can't give Monarch 1. Damn, Bungie. What are we doing right now? What are we doing? Any other exotics that need help?
I mean, Skyburner's Oath, honestly, since we spoke about it earlier, like, legitimately, for not memeing on it, like, it could probably use some type of help. Like,
it definitely
I don't know
could,
if it's because 150 scouts just kind of suck in general. I mean, all scouts suck, but 150 scouts in particular, like, their body shot damage is pathetically low for what type of weapon they're supposed to be. I wouldn't mind seeing Telesto come back up just a tiny bit, like not back to its meme status power, but like all fusion rifles right now are pretty weak comparatively. They've practically vanished from the meta. So I wouldn't mind seeing Telesto given like a couple damage points on the explosion, so it at least is a little bit more competitive. Doesn't need to kill at 90 meters like it used to, but
you gotta be careful on that one.
I mean, worst case scenario, it breaks the game for everyone for months at a time. Right?
Yeah. What are the creatures from the movie? It's like an old reference, dude. Gremlins. What are they called? Yeah. Like the Mogwai or something like that. I can't. Like they have a name.
Mowgli.
Something, whatever they're called. It's like
don't feed them after midnight.
Mercules like in terms of like, let's buff the Telesto a little bit. Like that gun is a
it's 11:59.
Shot.
We have.
I was like, we could look. He smells bad. We gotta. I know we can't put water on him. Let's just wash him a little bit, just a little bit of.
First task. They say like, all right, just work on this gun. It's Telesto, and that's
work on Telesto. Like the beads of sweat are like coming down their forehead. Just put a little water on the gremlin. Give me the answer, Cammy.
It stumbled upon me this week because I wanted to use this in a build, and it turns out it doesn't work as intended. It's called Apotheosis Veil. It reads, immediately regenerate health, melee, grenade, and rift energy upon activating your super. Now that part works. The next sentence is, nearby allies recharge class abilities faster.
Now when they
read that, what do you think that means?
I'm so glad you brought that up. Because when I did read that, I was like, so if we're standing together, like within whatever the range is, like your abilities charge a little bit quicker, right? Is that like, I mean, that was my assumption.
That's how I thought it was too.
Yeah.
But once I tested it and I realized that wasn't how it worked, maybe it's the other way around, right?
Yeah.
Where nearby allies charge your class ability faster. Nope, not the case either.
So how does it work?
It doesn't.
Here's my backup theory. The way that they wrote it, so everything happens when you pop super, right? Like you pop.
Nope, it's not when you pop a super. It's not when you have a charge super.
Really? It's not even when you pop your super?
I went down this rabbit hole last week because I wanted it to work with the team build.
The F. Yeah. Oh, that's, well.
See, I was going to use it. I was genuinely going to use it just because it buffs class ability. I was thinking Stasis, right? Like,
there
always
you
have
go.
the class abilities. And nope, it just doesn't work.
That is a shame.
And to think, like, that's all they had to have in it. I don't even care about the regain super. I just want the class ability for standing near teammates.
Yeah, what the hell? That's, okay, I got to look into that. That sounds really, really odd.
What's funny, though, is the Vesperal Radius works for standing near enemies and being surrounded for the faster rift charge.
Yeah, yeah.
The Stormcaller, Bottom True Stormcaller, works better with teammates standing next to you. But that helmet just doesn't work at all.
What the hell? All right, well, Bungie, you heard the man. Make it work.
Another exotic that could use some help, I think, is Malfeasance. So 180 that doesn't get the intrinsic of the other 180s, doesn't get the high accuracy.
That is... why is that? Why is that?
Not having great accuracy. Oh, no.
I mean, that's the one thing going for the 180s is the high accuracy.
Yeah, true.
No, just anytime I can, like, remind us that when we're slowed, we have reduced accuracy.
Just don't say it. Jesus. Cammy, I need you to stop.
I'm not going to lie. I don't even think I'm going to try and hide it anymore. I'm just going to have lots of fun improving the accuracy on my weapons and being known for that, but also shitting on the accuracy of other people's weapons. That amuses me quite a bit. It's like, it's canon. This is my character.
He is coming for your cones, bro. Hide your kids.
Coming for your cones.
Hide your wife. Hide your cones.
Fully about using the dark to ruin other guardians.
That scene from The Incredibles, freeze. He's like, I'm just taking a drink of water. And then he turns around with the opening shot. Gotcha.
Oh, I love it.
I teach you about your cone. Now I take your cone.
Your cone belongs to me. That's all the questions we got. I think we got a good one there, boys. That sounds like a natural place to chill on tonight's episode. Pun, not intended. I kind of hate myself. Boo, boo. But we appreciate you joining us, either if you're listening at home or if you're watching live on Twitch, where we record every other Wednesday night. Thank you for listening, all that junk. We're going to go around the table and let you know where you can find each one of us. Cammy, where can the people find you?
Twitter.com, at CammyCakesYT, Twitch.tv/CammyCakes, and YouTube.com/CammyCakesGaming. Thank you.
There you go, Drew.
Twitter.com at Drewsky's channel. I think I ask myself this every week. YouTube.com/Drewsky's channel and Twitch.tv/Drewsky's primarily.
Merc.
I am on Twitter at Mercules904, and I am on the Destiny Massive Breakdown podcast, which records on Thursday nights and releases Friday when I actually edit it in time, which I have.
And again, he is not here tonight, but Cool Guy can be found on YouTube and on Twitter. I can't remember exactly. I think it's Cool Guy Games. That's what he changed it to, I believe. Just Google Cool Guy. He'll pop up somewhere. And we hope to have him back on the show soon.
Cool Guy Games is in the chat right now, actually.
Is he? What a baller, dude.
And he's a moderator. Why am I not a moderator?
Bro, get effed up. You got to earn that sword, kid. Didn't you slip Ares like $50 under the table for that green sword privilege?
Damn it.
Who even are you? Are you even a member of the show? Get him out of here.
Not.
I'm just kidding. And what am I talking about? Yeah, me. I'm Fallout. You can find me youtube.com/FalloutPlays, twitch.tv/FalloutPlays, and on Twitter at FalloutPlays. Thank you very much for joining us on Firing Range. Be safe, take care, and we will catch you next time.